Hey guys, Vincent Zeng, the Wandering Warrior here, and as you know, with my storytelling, I like to find certain niche characters and local stories that can serve as a vignette to give us an immense perspective on what our world was and why is it the way it is right now. Now today, I've got a really interesting story. We gotta bring it back though. We gotta dial it back 400 something years. Check it out.
It's the late 1500s. Waco pirates have been raiding the coasts. Lima Hong had been trying to conquer parts of Taiwan as well as Luzon, and Taifusa had briefly controlled Cagayan, while a trade lord, Li Tan, was quietly building up power. And against this backdrop of maritime trade, the Ming dynasty pursued a prohibitive policy, while Luzon came under Spanish control and the shogun exerted more control over Japan, pushing merchants and pirates alike to Formosa, today's Taiwan. It's in this environment that a samurai named Antonio would make his mark on history. A young nobody from Nagoya made his way to Nagasaki and got baptized. Whether it was a heartfelt conversion or it was for the connections, we don't know. But he was christened Antonio, and he wouldn't stay a nobody for much longer. See, the Japanese of the past were far more adventurous and cosmopolitan than we think of them today. The isolationist policy had not yet come to pass. 200 years of Waco piracy was transitioning to trade, colonies, and mercenary work.
On the western end of the Japanese archipelago in Kyushu, there were bustling ports. Maritime trade was booming, and we had different peoples coming in, foreigners bringing Chinese porcelains and silks, Philippines bringing sapanwood, Taiwan having the deer skins so desired by the samurai class. And it was in this time that the Portuguese arrived, bringing their sciences and their guns, which would forever revolutionize Japanese warfare. In fact, it was these arquebuses, these teppo, these tanegashima, that would help the shogun unify the entire Japanese archipelago and all of its feuding daimyo. And so you can imagine with the Sengoku Jidai, the warring states starting to come to an end with a shogun being the clear winner, with this maritime trade booming and the Japanese spreading out into East and Southeast Asia. This was a very dynamic time for Japan.
Our Antonio was a smart guy and went on to become commercially successful and had deep links with the Jesuits. Not only was he financially well off, he even excelled in politics. The municipal council elected to have him be a delegate to Toyotomi Hideyoshi, unifier of Japan, in 1592. Hideyoshi actually liked him quite a lot. Antonio Tōan. あなたはTōanです。はい。And so because Hideyoshi could not pronounce Antonio, Antonio became Tōan, and he was nominated by Hideyoshi to become a taxman. In 1603, Antonio Tōan became Nagasaki Daikan, the magistrate of Nagasaki, and managed to regulate the price of silk acquired via Portuguese traders with a buy-in-bulk sort of system. The Imjin War in Korea between Japan and the Ming-Joseon alliance did not dampen the Japanese desire for foreign goods. In fact, business continued. But there was a problem. The Japanese wanted Chinese goods, yet foreigners remained the primary middlemen. Tōan advocated for an expansion of the Red Seal ship system to facilitate direct trade between Japan and Ming China. The Red Seal system was a shogunate policy of issuing permits, shuinjo, to control the trade activities of the daimyo. While a century before the Japanese were famed as pirates, now they eagerly traded from Taiwan all the way to Thailand in armed shuinsen, Red Seal ships. Hundreds of these ships made their way to foreign lands, and Japanese trading and manufacturing colonies called Nihonmachi were even established. In 1609, the Shimazu clan would succeed in invading Ryukyu, forcing it to become a vassal, while it remained under Chinese vassalage at the same time. A few steps closer to China, yet not quite there.
At this point, the Ming dynasty still prohibited Japanese ships from calling at Chinese ports. Remember, their trade policies were relatively prohibitive. However, that did not prevent Hokkien or Fujianese merchants from meeting those Japanese merchants in the Penghu Islands off the coast of Taiwan or on Taiwan itself. So the Japanese wanted to be able to trade directly with the Chinese merchants for silks instead of relying on the Portuguese middlemen. If only somebody could take control of northern Taiwan and utilize it as a base from which to meet these Hokkien traders. Hey, Tony.
Thus, in 1616, on orders by the Tokugawa shogunate, Murayama Tōan set sail for Taiwan with 13 ships and 4,000 men. But soon, after they left Nagasaki, they got smashed by a typhoon. Additionally, the Ryukyuans had warned the Ming Empire of the Japanese intentions. Only one ship made it here to Taiwan, and the crew got ambushed in the creek. The survivors committed suicide to avoid capture and beheading. Tōan's remaining men decided the best they could do was go full pirate and raid China, killing more than 1,000 Chinese before returning home. Our unlucky protagonist Murayama Tōan would get even unluckier. In 1618, he got into a dispute with another Japanese Christian, the trader Suetsugu Heizo. They went back and forth, accusing one another of illegally harboring Christian priests, murder, and other crimes. But finally, Murayama Tōan was found to be guilty by the Bakufu, and he and most of his family was executed in 1619. The shogunate was uneasy with Christianity and foreign influence, which would culminate in the isolationist policies we know as Sakoku. So, in 1616, the Japanese tried and failed to conquer Taiwan. However, they never forgot the strategic significance of our island. They came back in 1895 and conquered Taiwan for 50 years. Situated between the Japanese and Ryukyuan Islands, the Chinese mainland, and the Philippines to the south, facing the Pacific to the east, Taiwan is the keystone in the arc that the Chinese call the first island chain. This is a fact painfully obvious to us Taiwanese today as tensions rise between the Chinese Communist Party-controlled People's Republic of China and the global maritime superpower, the United States of America. Between Cold War-era feuds and expansionism, the CCP cling dangerously to the national mission of taking Taiwan for themselves. Whomever controls or has friendly relations here has on their side the central piece in the West Pacific.
Look, history does not repeat itself, but geography and cultures and interactions in history gives us patterns. In our dynamic and uncertain times, tensions rise and navies set sail around Taiwan once more. We can only look to the past and the geopolitical realities of the present and hope for the best. I hope you guys enjoyed that little story about somebody who almost changed the course of world history and perhaps illuminates the importance of this place where my people call home. Anyways, thank you for following me on my journey. I salute yours. Peace.